Hello. Am I heard? Hello. 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 My name is Jefferson, also known as The Rise. I am here with another video, and I wanted to talk about this concept that I've been really it's been coming back to me, and I kind of just want to talk about it and maybe share some of this kind of creative light with other people. But I think one thing that has been coming back to me is this idea of staying undefined and like the benefit of being undefined. I think there's like so much in like our society, and also just in the way that we are taught to create, and like also just like order ourselves within a system, and like we need to be either an artist or a designer, right? Or we need to either make this type of music or that type of music. And I think in some ways it's really good to have a focus and have some way of describing what you're doing. But I think as one works on something or is developing something, I think it's actually in your best interest to stay undefined as long as possible, And I think for me, what that looks like, and I'll give you an example because I think it's always more clear with an example, but thinking like, I don't know, I'm thinking both in the creative work, but then also in like, I'm thinking specifically about relationships actually, right? And I think sometimes there's the urge for me to want to define, what this person is to me, right? Whether this person is someone I'm trying to pursue romantically, or this person is a friend, or something in between, right? And I think younger version of myself would always kind of see like, I need, like, although I would say, I'm open to like whatever, in my head I'm like, this is either going down the direction of dating them or not, or it's like, and I think there's a lot of value of what I'm finding recently in life is just like keeping things open and like really being genuine about that openness. Not like open but it's like, literally open, and letting the relationship develop in itself, because I think over time relationships will develop how they should and what they will. And I feel like sometimes trying to define it too early will actually end up in a lot of pain, because either you try to force a definition on someone else who's not ready for that definition, or you force yourself into a definition that you're not ready for. So I think it's like that space of, if you can keep in the undefined space for longer and long enough, I think it also gives you that freedom to try things, right? To kind of take risks, to not really be beholden by a certain formula or by a certain way of acting, but allowing the relationship or the moment to dictate your behavior. And then how I apply that to the creative work, right, is that like sometimes it's like sometimes for me, like I'm in this place, and like I guess with the Rise, right, I'm thinking of what do I want to do with it, how do I want to keep moving forward, and like part of me like wants to like almost drop the music making aspect of it, because I'm like, I'm doing all these other things, like, maybe it would be better use of my time. But I honestly think that like that's me trying to define myself about like what I should and shouldn't do. But like in reality, I don't see why I can't just like let it be open and let it be undefined. And if this moment and in this time in my life that I feel more inclined to make music, let that come out, right? If another time in my life I feel more inclined to like be a producer or like design, or let that come out. But I think it's by not being, I think it's like by not forcing like a definition upon yourself, but allowing the moment and like whatever the situation needs to be what it is, right? And I think that's kind of where I'm getting at like that power of being undefined, because when you don't define it, then you're able to go left, right, center, and I think how I think about it sometimes, it's like I feel like sometimes we're like always so, as a society, we're always so eager to go make these straight lines. Everyone has to go within this straight line, right? But I guess for me, I'm thinking like, if we all only go straight, then what about all those other possibilities, the curves, all those different kind of ways of being that we've eliminated because we said only straight is the way we want to like draw our lines, right? And I think it's an idea of being undefined, is that when you don't define yourself, when you allow yourself to be open, then you're able to kind of take different routes and turns that we haven't seen before. And I think when we think about society, what we need the most, I think it is this kind of creative thinking. And an undefined way of thinking, right? Because for new things to change, for things to be different than they are now, we can't be doing the same thing. So that's kind of what I got on today. That's the undefinition, and that's why I think as a creative, but also as a person, you should always kind of keep in mind, how can I stay undefined as long as possible? All right, peace.